Good morning. How are you? I suppose it's good afternoon now. Welcome. I am the king of chemo, and this is the main channel, but there is also a channel exclusively for gaming. If you started following my channel for the gaming, and then you saw the switch after the whole cancer business, if you go into headshots for head cancer, then you can, that's where all the gaming stuff is now. This side of the channel is more for fitness classes and everything else. So you'll still see the shit funny sketches and stuff like that. And the odd video game thing will come up if it's for a wider audience, something that, you know, the actual gamer wouldn't need to know about to enjoy, but just like, you know, anyone can look at it and go, ha, that's kind of funny, or Jesus, that's a bit interesting. So moving on quickly, what we are doing today is we are doing foam rolling. So I don't think it's uncommon for many people to have a foam roller, but if you don't, there's actually quite a lot of things that you can use as a cover for a foam roller. You can go out into the world and you can find, you know, a lot of there'll be a lot of poles all around the world, all around cities, that you'll usually find near parks, just as a form of fence, and you can use one of those. The best thing to do for anything like that is to have, what would they be called? Spandex shorts, and then your body will just glide over them. There's no need to find some other lubricant to do so. Another form of a foam roller that you can have in your house is, again, you might need this is actually just my bottle of water, but it is a very good foam roller. You will need something to cover your legs, so a tight tracksuit bottoms, or some of those spandex that I was talking about. And literally, if you use any sort of an item like that that's just round, a rolling pin, you know, the old pissed off cartoon 50s housewife. Yeah, one of those, the old rolling pins. I'm sure they don't actually get much use anymore, but this is something that they are excellent for, is if you don't roll them, this is why you need the spandex. You actually just grind up and down, and you can't really do that with skin, because it'll start pulling at the skin rather than working into the muscle. But yeah, put on your spandex and do that. So as an example, I could do it up on my shirts or on my shorts, no problem. Just dig into the muscle. It is not pleasant, but it is very, very effective. In some ways, I find that it is more pleasant when it's really sore, because it's just like, oh yeah, that's where the problem is. And you can feel how quickly it actually will go away. So you'll start off, as soon as we'll switch to the foam roller, I did a bit already, but you'll usually start with, oh God, and then after a few little reps, it'll push. It will either relax the muscle, which is causing the pain, or it will flush out the lactic acid, which builds up when you what's an easy way to explain this? When you the reason that we have oxygen, when your body can't get enough of that, it improvises, and as a result, you end up with this lactic acid, which causes a dull pain in your muscles. It's what is, if ever you hear someone say the DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, that's what that stems from. It stems from a buildup of lactic acid. But we are going to move on, and we are going to do our foam rolling. Now, to start off with, you do, first of all, chop your dick off. Make sure that your dick and balls are chopped off. Throw them in the bin. You won't need them for this class. And what you do is you go down and try to get both of your hips and both of your thighs. So this is a very simple one. Shouldn't be too sore. I ran 17.5 kilometers yesterday, and as you can imagine, my legs are, and I did not do it smoothly. I was trudging through the whole thing. It was It was very, very unpleasant. But it was so unpleasant that once I finished, I was very satisfied with myself for having not, just given up halfway and being like, you're not running fast, you're not running well, just go home. This is crap. I started thinking, well, no, it's not about you being able to run smoothly. At this point, it's more about training your willpower. And I achieved what I wanted to yesterday. So I was happy with that. But anyway, moving on. As you can imagine, my legs are very, very stiff. But I was also a very good boy yesterday. And every so often, I was stretching. Now, that's plenty of the easy. Now what you do is you either move your entire body to one side or you move the foam roller to one side. And how, also talking about different foam rollers, because I'm sure you've seen, if ever you've tried to buy one, that there's lots of options. The best option is the one that causes the most pain. Unfortunately, that's the case. The thing that is the hardest, the thing that is the most mean to you is the best one. So, in my old rugby club, very, very old rugby club, in Clontarf Rugby Club back home in Ireland, they don't have foam rollers. So they just had PVC pipe that was laying around, and then rather than put that in the skip because they were doing some construction or whatever, someone who was a bit clever said, no, we'll find a use for that. And so they use Wavin pipe for warming up with the team, and it is sore, but that's exactly what you want. Now, what we're doing next is we are focusing on the left hip. Doesn't matter which one you choose, as long as you just choose one and just remember your left from your right. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift up the leg that's being stretched. So in this, just like that, in this scenario, it's my left leg, and your right leg comes up to the side a bit just to provide some stability and some balance. And this is not for the pussies, because you just find the thing that hurts the most and then you just keep rubbing that out. But I will give you some good news here. So Katie Quinn, my physio, who is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, who is just like a foam roller in that she is mean to the muscles. And then you walk out of her clinic like a fairy in a cartoon, just going through a meadow. That's how good she is. Grim going in. She tough love. She gives tough love. But Christ, I've forgotten what I was bloody saying there. Stupid dog. Yes, sorry, that was it. So the IT band, which if anyone does foam rolling knows is the most horrific. So your IT band is when you do this stuff, and everybody knows that is awful. It's absolutely awful. It's agonizing. You've got to put I'd never be able to take my full weight on it. It's so sore. And she told me that it's waffle. Never do it. Sorry, my alarm was going off there. Yeah, so you never have to do it. Ever. Apparently the best sort of stretches for the things that people are aiming for there is literally just going side to side like that. No extra weight on one hand or anything like that. It is it's one of those things that just gets done because it looks cool, or it seems like, oh, it's sore, therefore it should be good. Similar to when people do pull-ups. I think Will Smith was the one who kind of made this into a thing in I Am Legend, because it makes him look more ripped. He's doing pull-ups, but he's doing them to the back of the neck. That's just bad for your shoulders and your neck. It's not it doesn't make a harder pull-up. It just does cranks your neck a bit. But He looks pretty good doing it. And if you want to look good, that's the logic. You just do what the good-looking person is doing. Steroids. The boys put the work in, but anyone who thinks that Chris Evans and Liam Hemsworthy are not roided up crazy when they're doing their Marvel films is a fool. But I will quickly say, I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of about doing roids because they still have to go to the gym every day. Like there's something about the performance enhancing drugs in sports that I definitely would disagree with. But if you're doing bodybuilding, there's natural bodybuilding and then there's just bodybuilding, which is implied that we don't check for steroids. But like that's an even playing field. So let the boys play. I think they should have the same in all sports. Maybe not team sports like football and rugby, because that's about the elimination of progress. But I think there should be a drugged Olympics and a drug-free Olympics because, like, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Bill Burr. I want to see someone run 100 meters in 4 seconds. So once you've done your hip, which is at the very top above your thigh, and kind of roll that out as much as possible until the pain eases off. What you then do is come up using your elbows for a frame and get to the top of your knee. Ah. Now, just as a way to sort of show an alternative, something that I would always prefer is if you're going for a run with one of your housemates, this is the best thing in the world because what you can then do is one person does the essentially a pre-massage or a post-massage. Massage is not a pleasant thing, and what they can do is they can go on the outside and apply the right amount of pressure because when you're foam rolling, you can be putting on too much pressure and it's too uncomfortable for you to get in there properly. But if you get up to the, let's say 100% is when you go, no, can't do that. And if you can get your friend to get you up to 90, then that's a very efficient way to get all that lactic acid out of that muscle or to loosen up that muscle tissue. But when you're doing it on the foam roller, you have a tendency to tense up and it becomes a point of diminishing returns where it's sore, but you're not actually loosening anything up. So this is me doing it here, but I can't help but not go absolutely full belt into it. But if she had thumbs, she'd probably dig this right in and find it very amusing that I'd be there going, ah, and the rest of it. Ah. Okay, so next one, we are going to start doing everything on what's called a posterior chain, which, as you can imagine, posterior, your arse, it is just everything that is on the back. So your posterior chain continues up into your back as well. So if you were to do that exercise called a deadlift, that works all of the muscles on your posterior chain. Now, so starting off, we're going to work on the most important thing. For me, make your exercises and you think, yes, you're very cute. Make your routines personable to you or personalized to you. So, hands point to the back or any way that can keep you up comfortably, and start off toes as relaxed as possible, And again, this is entirely up to you. I don't think I can tolerate that without tensing up. And if you tense up, that sort of defeats the foam roller can't get into the deep tissue that is that's tensed up. It's like it's protecting the muscle from relaxing. So I try to find that right amount of pressure that I can put on while keeping. If you look down at my leg, you'll see that it's sort of it moves out like the fat and the muscle spread out like they're made of bread dough. But if I tense up while doing this, it doesn't happen so much. So that's what we want to avoid. You want to find the right amount of weight that's sore, but you can keep your thigh or your calf or whatever muscle you're working relaxed. And your calf isn't all just in one place. So try point your toes to one side, point your toes to the other side, and continue moving around. And remember, the pain that you feel at the start will get better. The dawn is darkest, or what is that? The night is darkest before the dawn. I can actually feel the bubble that's in there. Right there. And you know what? If you get someone, it works better if this is a two-player game. You get your housemate to literally just dig in wherever there's. You don't need to have a degree in something to know how to give an okay massage to someone that's not going to, damage their health. But if someone has a knot, like it just feels like a bubble, if you just get your thumb in there and do that, do it for everybody ends up with stuff like that. I've got tight shoulders at the moment, still laying over from the kettlebell exercise that we did the other day. And I've always tried to push it on people. No one seems to bite, where it's like, hey, I'll rub your shoulders down if you rub mine. And then, we'll both feel better having done that. Yeah, that's really. So you can feel around. If you want to try and do this with the rolling pin, the best way to loosen up your, look at that. That doesn't look like a man who ran 17 kilometers yesterday. That is because my heel isn't up, my toes aren't pointing up. See the difference now? So you want to try and keep it as loose as possible. Finding a different level of elevation with a coffee table and you sitting on the couch. I found that's the best way to get just the right angle where you can get right in underneath and find the point that's causing the pain. And once you've found it, yeah, there it is. Literally just, see what I mean? Like, that's not surgery. That's just, you're just removing a stain, a blemish. It's not a tumor. My brain surgeon didn't exactly do this. He was a little bit more precise. He was drilling into my head. Oh. And whenever you find it, you can usually tell, because it feels like a tumor. It feels like a lump is in there. Like it is a solid lump. And it's weird to think that it is muscular flesh and that it's not some sort of a bone has been chipped and misplaced. But if you keep just working it and working it and working it, it is just like what it says in the phrasing where it's like, oh, I've got a knot in my back, because your muscles are like fibers and they do knot up. And so doing this releases the tension. Right. Yeah, let's move on to the other leg. I've got two of them for now. So Try and keep the toes from pointing up. When they point up, the muscle tenses up. And you want to keep the muscle as relaxed as possible. And remember, you're not aiming to have your toes pointing up, but I mean that's how foot works. And make sure that your toes are still pointing in around the clock, meaning look at my foot now, or look at my hands now. So that's to 12. As the camera is, that's to 11. You know, that's to 1, that's to 2, that's to 3. Don't make a fascist joke, you're better than that. So you're doing the same. So if you're looking at my foot, again, don't have your foot pointing up. Don't have that flexing, because then your calf is going to tense up. But your toes still have to point somewhere. Point them at 11. And then 12. And then 1. Just to get the different angles in at your calf. Okay. All right, we're coming into the end of the class, and now we're going to move on to hamstrings. So hamstrings, you're doing almost the exact same looking exercise, but you've just moved it up higher. And I follow the same kind of protocol, I think is the right word for this, where if you look, oh gosh, I didn't think my hands were tight. So you follow the same protocol in that your foot acts as the clock. You're still trying to keep it as relaxed as possible, but you are pointing it to 1 o'clock, and then to 12. 12 is grand. And then to 11. 11 for my right leg is kind of hard to get into because I can't use my right hand to help the balance. So I can't get in as deep, but what is a doozy? All right, let's try and see, can we do this with two feet? No, it's not the same. It's too tense, and so it's not getting into a relaxed muscle. Okay. Alright, so now I'm moving up from my hamstring. If you can see, I'm going that little bit higher, not much. I'm getting into my ass. And if you want to comment an into my ass joke, you go ahead. You think about what your mother would think of you if you would say such a rude thing. And I'm trying to run a charity for the kids, man. It's all for the kids. Oh yeah, if you got something out of this class and you feel like, that was an excellent class. I loved all the bullshit that he talked while he was doing the exercises. They were highly entertaining comments. And if you want to do that, no, you're going to make this worse. If you want to do that, go onto see the description or see the description from a previous video if I haven't got it edited. And you should see Cure Cancer or Die Trying, and that's where you can donate to whichever one of the charities that you most identify with. So, you know, most of the audience is probably Irish, so the Irish Cancer Society. Second would be English, and so Cancer Research UK. And then, I don't know, I think the Americans are third. So Australia, get your shit together. Oh, in terms of friends and family, Australia should be leagues ahead of America. I don't have that many American mates. And living in London, you get a lot of Australian ones, especially if you like to drink and if you like AFL. Oh. Oh. Okay, now finishing it up, getting into getting all up in my ass. Luckily, this isn't that sore. But I don't use my ass a lot while I'm running. My ass gets sore. I'm gonna be doing my deadlifts or my squats. Okay. Now, finishing off, 3 minutes till it's a half hour. We are going to do our backs, which is always lovely. And I'm going to take advantage of her. If you've watched a previous video where I was doing some foam rolling, I was saying, oh, I need to get rid of the dog, but she actually could be useful for this part. So, rolling the back, use your hands as a form to increase the weight as needed. If you go up, you're not going to get any extra weight, and also move your shoulder blades into weight. Your timing is impeccable, Kinky. Now, where's your flesh? Here you do. So, if you want a little bit of weight, get a weight, put it above your head, and extend it out a little bit, and that adds a really good amount of weight to the mid part of your back, and that can really help. If you're like me and you like it when bones or when joints crack a little, there's nothing wrong with it. Remember that it's synovial fluid, creating a buildup of carbon dioxide, and having that carbon dioxide release is nothing wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The only time you ever have to be worried about like hearing a crack of a bone, like that sort of thing, is when you do it and then straight away afterwards you feel pain. More often than not, when you hear a crack, there's usually some sort of a sense of relief afterwards. If you're my kind of person and you like watching, it's gross, but if you like watching spots being popped, you'll love backs being cracked. And I think it's a I do the same thing, and there's another one I'm mad about at the moment, which is watching someone clean out the dirt from phones. So they go into the charger and they go into this little thing and they take out all this like dust and hair that's built up, and I love seeing it. Same thing with a laptop, getting the little USB Hoover thing and just go getting all the dust out of the laptop keys. I love all that stuff. Well, anyway, point being that you'll find videos of people who get a bone popped back into place in their backs, and you can instantly see something that was bringing them down, some sort of a disability that they were suffering with, and then straight away they go, oh my God, like now I can breathe or something like that. And I've experienced that recently enough, not exactly a bone crack, but I had what's called an intercostal muscle, which is the muscles around your rib. I had a cramping of one of those. It was awful. I was out for a run with her, and it ended up with me needing to get one of my friends to pick me up and bring me back home in a car, and I couldn't breathe because I knew it was coming from my back, but I felt it in my chest, even though I didn't feel it in my back. I just kind of knew it was there. And one of my other mates was over, and thank Christ he had the same thing happen. He just said, here's a tennis ball, roll your back here on the tennis ball. And straight away afterwards, I was feeling right as rain. So, thank you, Seamus, for that. And then also on the day, rather than calling it the hospital, because it's COVID, it could be more dangerous, I called up Katie. They said this, and this. Katie Quinn, the physio, and she said, yep, that sounds like an intercostal muscle. If XYZ happens, go into hospital. But if not, it sounds like you are taking care of it the right way. Now, that is the class. If you enjoyed it, you can donate on any of the charities. That'll be sound. If not, tell your mates. As soon as this gets up to 1,000, that would be that'll be great, because if it does, subscribers, if it gets up to 1,000 subscribers, then I can live stream off my phone. Phone is better quality than this camera here off my laptop, and it means I can live stream outside, which is where I want to. It's coming into a break in COVID at the moment, and that means that I'll be able to just teach some free fitness classes to people, members of the public, and they can I can stream them and make a bit of a community out of this.